Hi universe, welcome to 100 Days Live with Sonya again, and of course with me Sonya from anitasonya.com. And this is the place for the experts to share their experiences and of course their strategies in life and business to reach their tops, their dreams, their goals, whatever they want to. And today we are going to talk about, are you profitable? Not me, not yet. So how not to price yourself out of business, and we have our expert today, Jacob Roig, and he is the entrepreneur leadership mindset coach, but I see him a lot as a business coach also because he helps a lot of entrepreneurs and also business to business relationship, how to maintain their business, how to make the plan, and then apply the plans in his system, right? So this is a great way today that we need to see if we are profitable or not, because sometimes, yes, as a coach we see that once we get the big money and then we forget all of the hard works, all of the efforts that we did before it, like maybe we work for 3 months but then we get the outcomes for 1 month only for our income, for example. So we are going to talk about it with Jacob, how we can avoid, at least not avoid, we need to remove it, such thing, because yes, however, I consider coaching is a business. If we consider it as a hobby, that's why we never reach our target. That's why, because we take it easy in our own business. So we need to do it the right way, right? And I'm started to do it the right way also, because last week actually I took decision to shift my business online, all of them. So it will be great to talk to him also today. Jacob Ray, thank you very much for coming today. No matter how challenge that you are facing, that your wife is not well, and I really appreciate that you can make the time today. And welcome to 100 Days Live with Sonya. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. And we get to choose how we show up. I just chose to show up because I know there's so many people watching that can use the help that we're going to talk about today. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We can make it shorter if you want to, but then you need to speak longer later. So how can we start to be profitable in the coaching business, especially in the beginning? Maybe we don't have the high ticket clients or the high ticket programs, or not so many clients that we have. Actually, I consider myself not a coach if I don't have clients, right? But then I understand, because I focus on the other things at that time. So also because I shift my business from offline to online totally, because then I don't have any time anymore to travel a lot to meet the people in person in this kind of condition. Also, it wasn't
Yeah.
support. It wasn't supporting a lot for my business also. So how can we start to be profitable as a coach or a trainer or a mentor or consultant, whatever we are in the business, Jacob?
That's a great question to start with,
Thank
Sonia.
you.
You know,
Mhm.
the one thing to understand is a coach or an entrepreneur is that
Mm-hmm.
we are to change our mindset, our thinking from somebody who is good at doing something to a business leader or business owner that
Mm-hmm.
is running a profitable business. So the first step is changing the mind from thinking that you're just doing something to this is your
Mm-hmm.
business that you're running. The next place you start is you have to really get a grasp of everything that it cost you to run this business. Most
Mm-hmm.
businesses now, because of COVID, but also because of the online transformations that we've gone through, start their business from their home, the home office, a bedroom, a kitchen, where I started,
Mm-hmm.
a kitchen table.
In my
Right.
sofa.
But we don't consider that if we didn't have our own cell phone or we didn't have internet
Mm-hmm.
service as a business, you would have to purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you become a business, you have to look at every single thing that it takes that is required to run the business as a business expense. What is your cell phone? What is your internet? Do you use copier? Do you use ink? Do you use
Mm-hmm.
paper? Do you use pens? Do you use whatever it takes? You know, the earbuds, they cost money. If you're not having your business eventually pay for it, you are not a profitable business. And nobody on this call is a nonprofit
Mm-hmm.
by unless by decree, right? So that's the first place to start, is understanding what are all the what's called fixed costs. So, and fixed costs again are your cell phone, your internet, any programs that it takes, like StreamYard, which is this is running on, that costs money.
Mm-hmm.
So the business has to, at some point, figure out how to pay for all of these expenses. Now, I haven't even talked yet about our pay, because we have to get paid. And then if you have an assistant, hopefully at some point you have an assistant, right? Cross the fingers, you know, that we have an assistant to help. We're going to have to pay for that assistant, and not out of our pocket, because then we're not profitable. If we have to pay for it out of our pocket all the time, we're not profitable. A funny thing, and then I'll be quiet for a minute for sure, but if you work for a corporation, you don't knock on the CEO's door and say, we need copy paper. Do you have $20? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They send a requisition or request, and then the money gets paid for out of the business. The CEO is not pulling money out of their pocket. We are CEO of our business. We should not be doing the same thing as well.
Yeah, it is like yeah, I understand that many of us think that being paid is all up for our expenses, but not for our own salary. You know what I mean? That we don't pay ourselves for our work, or how many hours that we work, or how many hours that we spend to make the plan and everything until the business runs well. Even though if we haven't the system yet to pay ourselves, you know. And then yes, I agree that we need to pay ourselves, but in the for the startup, not even for paying ourselves. Sometimes we have to fund our business, right? Then it will be hard for the startup. So how can we know that this business is going to be profitable or not? How can we count it then?
So the first thing is throw out the door the myth
Mm-hmm.
that you don't pay yourself. Would you go, let me ask you this question, because you're the person that can respond to this, but I'm asking
Mm-hmm.
everybody watching.
Mm-hmm.
Would you go work for somebody else for 6 months or a year for free? Would you do that?
No, no.
No. So don't do it
Well,
for
I
yourself.
work very hard. For example, for 3 months for an event at the university, but then they consider me as the what is it, the representative of Japan consulate. So they didn't pay me, but that it was different case, right? So I work hard, but then the result wasn't like on the agreement before. So yeah, there was something missing there. But it can happen also in our business that we have the different communication or misunderstanding, or other people try to cheat us, like what happened to me or something like that.
Yeah, but in reality, we would never apply for a position. And
Mm-hmm.
if they said, hey, we just don't have the money, will you work for free? Will you commute at your own expense? Will you pay for your own lunch and then work for free for the first year? We would
Mm-hmm.
never do that, because we can't. So don't start a business not paying yourself. So once you have all of your expenses, and I encourage you to list them down. What do you pay for all your every single expense? Trust me, a corporation, if they use a paper clip, that paper clip has been expensed. They are
Mm-hmm.
charging
Being
whatever
counted,
they
yes.
sell, they are charging for everything that they use in their sale price. So what you do is you get all your expenses on a piece of paper or your
Mm-hmm.
computer file, and then you factor in your payment. Now, don't pay yourself $1,000,000 a year if you're just starting out. That's not realistic. Your experience doesn't equate to that amount of money. But pay
Mm-hmm.
yourself a living wage. You know, what is it? Because you're doing this business to replace an income or to create an income that's going to pay for your life. So make sure that you are covering all the expenses, every single thing that you pay for. And then you add that all up. and then you add what you're going to get paid. Let's say for, in my case as a coach, let's say I'm going to work with 10 clients a month, and I'm going to coach 1 hour per month with those clients. That would be 10 hours of my time, plus probably another hour to 2 hours of administrative work that I would do. So that's, let's say it's 2 hours. That's 12 hours of my time. If I would like to make $50 an hour,
Yes.
that would be 5 times 12 is 60, right? Or $50, that'd be $600. And let's say my monthly expenses were $500. If I add both of those up, that's 500 for expenses, 600
So only
for my
100
salary.
that we have.
Yep. And so if I'm going to charge that amount, then I have to divide that by the number of clients that I have. So if I have
Yes.
$500 in expenses and I have 12 clients or 10 clients, let's make it easy for myself, and we divide that between my clients, that means every client has to pay $50 to cover my expenses. 50 times 10 is 500. That would equal my expense money. Now I
Yes.
add my salary in. So $50 an hour. And I work with a client 1.5 hours a month. That would mean I'd have to add the $50 plus my pay, which would be the $75 to get paid for an hour and a half of my time. I add those together, that's 125. So far, so good? Then you add your taxes, because someone has to pay tax on your income. So let's just say it's 20% in the US. So I would add 20% to my expenses. So if I'm at $125 and I add 20%, that's another $25. That would equal 150. And then I have to add profit after that. So if I would like to run 10% net profit, I have to cover all expenses, I have to pay for payroll, I have to pay for taxes, and then I add profit. So I would add an additional $15, which is 10% of 150. So my total minimum, the minimum I could charge one client in this scenario would be $165. If I charged anything less than that, I would not be profitable. It would be coming out of my payroll, my pocket.
Yes.
And so many people do this. So what I would tell you to do, the easiest way to figure this out is add up everything you're spending money on. Even if you think right now it's personal, like your personal cell phone, but if you use it for work, that's a business expense. Add all of those up, add up how many hours you work with one client, and then add tax to that. And then when you get a total, let's just say average it by 10 clients if you're a coach, even if you don't have 10, just to make it easy. Because at some point, if you're working it as a coaching business, you will have 10 clients. So if you add all of that up and divide it by 10, you're going to come up with a number. And that's going to tell you how much you need to add to your bill, to what you charge for your services. If you have a product or a program that you sell, there's a similar addition equation to this. It's really hard without slides to show you. So what if
you can share the slide if you want to.
That's okay. We can do it another time. But what I'll offer everybody, if they would like, they can go through you. But if you send it to me, I will send you a form that you can fill out that makes you answer all of those questions.
Or you can put the link in the comments after this, how to get the form and everything, or they can contact you easily, right? And then for the startup business that you have been, I don't know, train or coach or also mentoring, right? Are there specific business that really takes attention in the very beginning, how they can start their business? Because we need to build the strong foundation or the strong base for our business, right? And in the beginning, maybe there are so many of us start from nothing because we don't have money to fund our business, right? especially in this condition, and also last
Yeah.
year, the worst condition with the pandemic, that there are so many people lost their work, and then their business also, so wanted or not, they have to get up again and try, because they don't get the, the money from the government, or from the family, from other supports, and they really have to get up and being alone in starting their business, right? So what
Yes.
is the best challenges that we can overcome, uh, because there are so many mistakes for the startup business, right, Jacob? So I would like to talk about that also, like how to avoid those mistakes as the startup, or how to overcome those mistakes in the beginning if we have them.
Yeah, well, there's a really good chance that we're going to make a few, mistakes or missed
Mm-mm,
calculations on what we do. Whenever you're
mm-mm.
starting any business, if you can know what to charge up front, that's why I focus on pricing so much. If
Oh,
you
okay.
if you know what to charge up front, it's easier. But one of the things that you have to do is
Mm-hmm.
any business, what is the number one problem that you help your customer solve or resolve? Once you get clarity on that, it's very easy to then identify who it is that has this problem the most. So that's getting to your ideal customer, ideal client.
Yes.
And then once you identify who that is, you have to even go deeper on that one and identify that group within that category of people that can truly afford your service, your product, or your program. It's not, if I'm a chiropractor, everybody with a spine is not my potential customer. It's somebody with a spine that sees chiropractic as beneficial, that has either back, neck, or joint pain, and is employed enough or has enough residual income to be able to afford to come
Mm-hmm.
in and get the adjustments. So it breaks it down. Just because everybody has a spine and I'm a chiropractor doesn't mean that I'm going to get business from everybody. So we still have to drill down deep and identify who is it within the category of people that we help that can afford our service, because this is the airplane theory. We have to be able to put the mask on us before we can help people
Mm-hmm.
that cannot afford our service. The usual tendency is to help people that need the most help, and sometimes we can't start there because they can't afford us yet. But if you get to the right people that can afford you and you get enough of them, then you can go help people that could really use the help that can't afford it as well. And that's the way that I run my business. I help
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people that have no money at all because I work with enough people that have it. And it allows me to be able to be a little bit flexible and give back as well. But if you're just starting your business because of COVID, problems still exist. COVID was just an additional problem, and it
Mm-hmm.
created a bunch of other problems. And those problems, for those people that were really thinking with their mindset, it created an opportunity for some. So what problem is really prevalent in your area that you have the skills to help solve or help with? That's a
Mm-hmm.
business opportunity. And then find that group of people with that problem that can afford to pay for your service. If you can do that, you have the foundation of building a business that will become profitable.
And so, how long does it take until we get our first customer? Because it takes time to get our first customer. If we don't get it in 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, of course, there are so many coaches who say that yes, you have to prepare first, but we cannot do that in this kind of condition, right? We have to get our clients right away, or if not, then we cannot survive. Or maybe this is the wrong business that we choose, or maybe this is not what we love doing, and then there are so many other factors that we need to consider.
Yep. If you have internet access,
Mm-mm.
then you'll have access to enough free material to be able to figure out how to speak properly to your ideal client, how to identify them, and how to do that so that you can start getting your paying clients. I don't know of any coach that can afford to not get paid, because this is the profession that they chose. Just like if you were a bricklayer, if somebody said, if you could supply the bricks and the mortar and do all the work, I will pay you when I can afford it. They might be able to do it for one person, but that would be it. So we have to find that group of people that can afford us so that we can do things for people that may not have it as good right now. I would say that anybody that starts a business, if you know the problem you solve, you know the people that can help, that you can help the most, and you go out there and without hesitation, continue to cultivate a conversation with these people. You don't even have to know every single step on how to sell somebody. You just have to share people your excitement. Hey, I help with this problem, and here's who I help. And if they're the right people, they'll go, well, that's me. You will get business if you have enough conversations. It doesn't take a PhD. It doesn't take, a lot of brains. It takes a lot of sometimes courage and excitement and energy. It takes persistence. But there's enough free things out there that anybody that's starting a business can figure out a way to either do trade so that you get something for your effort, or to get paid cash, for your efforts. Those people that wait because they say, oh, I can't afford it yet, I have to wait until this happens before I can do this. Those are the people that 1 year from now will still be in that situation, unfortunately. The only limitations that we usually start out with, especially the startup entrepreneur, are the limitations that we believe. I know people in every walk of life. I've coached people during COVID in Uganda, who's supposedly a third world country. And you can grow a business. You just have to think differently and not listen to all the conversations that keep you limited, keep you down. But I've coached in Uganda, I've coached in South Africa, I've coached in Argentina, in the worst possible places with people, and they're eager to learn, they're eager to do. They just need a little bit of guidance and direction. And it takes persistence. It takes persistence to do it.
That's true. So yes, and what about the coaches who give the free session, for getting the, how do you call it, like the testimonial or beta, how do you call it, just like the beta experiment or something like that to their system, to their programs, right? We find something like that. Do we need to put it in our expenses also, like the advertisement or the marketing expenses?
Everything. Anything you spend the money on.
Even though that is for free, right?
Well, if you're
That
doing
we
it
get
for
no money
free,
from them.
yeah, if you're doing it for free, it's still costing me money to do things. For you to see me on social media, even if I advertise on social media without spending money, I still use the internet. I use my electricity. I used a program that made it look better, whatever it is, that's still an expense. So as an entrepreneur or a coach, which is an entrepreneur, you're going to expense that off your, whatever your governmental tax laws are. In relation to, do they work? Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of coaches that will give you a free session. I wouldn't take it just to get a free session, but part of the reason that a coach will do that is to see if this person is a viable customer in the future.
Yes.
And to give back in some way. I give a lot of free sessions from time to time when my time is available. And part of it is to see if this person is a potential client. But even if they're not, I always make sure that I leave them with something very tangible that they can go do. Because see, we never know. 3 years down the road, you could become this huge success. And if I wasn't willing to give you time because you couldn't afford me then, you're not going to give it to me now. But if I did, and I gave you really good value then for free, when you think of coaching, who are you going to think of? That's why you give.
Oh, yes. So, yes, it is very important also for us to pay back, but not for the startup business to give the free session. Then we really need to consider it as the expense also for our business, right?
Well, it might be free for you, but it's not free for the coach. It's the
Yes.
coach is giving their time, their effort, they're paying expenses. You know, there's lighting here, there's internet, there's camera, there's a lot of expenses if we start adding everything up. That's why it's so important to make sure that the customers that pay you are covering your expenses. Because if not, there's so many entrepreneurs I've ran into, Sonya, and coaches, when I'd say, well, what do you make? And they go, oh, I charge
Mm-hmm.
$500 a month for a client. And I'll say, oh, after expenses, how much do you make? And they go, 500. And when I start breaking it down to them, they realize they made $50, $75,
Mm-hmm.
$80, or 200, and they were thinking they made this much. So it's really important to understand pricing. If you're not pricing properly, I've worked with companies that sell over $1 million a year. And when we break down how much they make per customer, one company in particular made $5 US per customer. That was it.
Wow.
I showed
It sounds
them,
like a big number, but then when we see it in the paper, in real, not
right?
so many that they make, right?
Yeah, I showed them how quickly their business would collapse if their business slowed down just 30%. And
Mm-hmm.
this was before COVID. So if they wouldn't have gotten their pricing together, that company would be out of business today because COVID shut people down longer than 3 months.
Have you already checked if they still exist?
They are in
If they are
business.
still
I
they
worked with
are on
them
business.
for
So they changed because of you. They changed their system because of you, maybe.
trust me, if I walk into that place, they will offer me coffee. I'll have lunch with the owner, and yes, they appreciated the work that we did together.
Of course, that is the best relationship that we have with our clients, right?
Yes.
The same like with the entrepreneurs here. Maybe they cannot pay a lot for the coaching program or the coaching session that I give, but then when I go home, I got everything, like the cakes and everything that they have, they produce at their home industry. So yeah, I think that is the best relationship that we can get. It's not only about money sometimes, but then it is really great to see them growing that way.
Yeah. Well, from my perspective only, this is just my expression. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it 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 should never be about money. It should be about providing value to someone that you can help solve a problem to. If I
Mm-hmm.
provide the value, then it's a win-win situation. I'm going to get paid. This person is going to excel. If that happens, you will always be in business and you will make enough, always, more than enough.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I would like to ask one more question. I know that
Sure.
you need to take care of your wife this time, but maybe this is very important also. Two coaches or the business also need to check out their competitors around them about the pricing, because sometimes we need to lower our price in the beginning to get more clients, to work with us, and also to build the trust among the clients also.
Um, I have a different belief system to that. I know it happens often.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is where people get into trouble, where they charge what everybody else is charging. If
Mm-hmm.
you do not know your pricing, how can you know if you're making a profit or not? So if you discount your price, you may be, cutting off your hand to spite your arm, right? It just doesn't make sense until then. If you provide enough value, you will get paid what you're worth. People, we as a group of coaches and entrepreneurs discount our value too much. It comes from limited or scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you really quickly. Sonya, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Just answer them. How long have you been coaching?
About 3 years.
So 3 years of it.
Offline, in person, so it's not
Yeah,
online. So
that's okay.
I created the workshop at the hotels, for example, for the businessmen, for the doctors, and the entrepreneurs also, and then they become the private clients. That's how I did, or to get my clients at first. But it was very scary in the beginning, actually, when I decided to be a coach 3 years ago. I directly had three coaches from the United States because I would like to get the better standard, than the local coach or the national coach, whatever you call it. So, yeah, it was really, really a hard time for me because I had to adapt with the United States time zone so that I can get used now. And then for my first client, they are not like average person, or they are coaches. Can you imagine that? But then it was really great to work that way because they know our expertise very well. You know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
not, but after that, that's why I try. Oh no, I don't want to coaches after that because yeah, actually, at that time, coaches image is like they want the cheap or the free programs compared with the
That's the
common
that's
people who are non coaches. That's why. But then, yeah, last week I decided to stop it all because it was really training, to spend a lot of time outside, for example, and then to prepare them because in here it's like the image of coaching is you have to meet in person, so they don't get used with the online business yet.
yeah.
But I also did some online classes, about coaching, and then about mindset also, many things about high performance also for the entrepreneurs, and also about the entrepreneurship because I got the government certificate to train or to mentor the entrepreneurs here, right, for the home industry. But then, yeah, it was really not comfortable for me. It was very stressful because we have to do face to face, and sometimes they are out of town. Then I spend a lot of time and energy for that, while the money doesn't cover the cost. You know what I mean? So then last week I decided to stop it all, shift all of my business online. You want it or not, you have to contact me online.
Well, maybe this will inspire you to do it again. But the point I was going to make is
Mm-mm.
people historically, especially
Mm-hmm.
starting out, don't charge enough because they don't have the belief that their value is there yet. So you have
Yes.
3 years experience of coaching. How many
Mm-hmm.
years of practice and experience do you have in the field that you chose to coach in?
Actually, it's been years. I was an entrepreneur before. I decided before. I keep changing, like, uh, it
So
is
for
like
how
a
long?
challenge here. More than 10 years, 15 years, 20
So
years, even the tourism industry. At that time, I was an assessor also for tourism industry, right? For the
okay,
travel agents, for the guides, like that. So actually, I didn't realize that I did coaching, but it was for free. Can you imagine that? Then I know the coaching business. Oh, then what I did is not only mentoring, not only consulting, but also coaching.
right.
Oh my God, that I should be rich by now if I knew it was a coaching business.
Well, you can still get there. So let me finish this out. So you have
Yes.
3 years of actual coaching. 10 years prior, you were doing some. Um,
More. I think 15 years
okay,
in the
so let's just say,
entrepreneurship, and also, yeah.
yeah, let's say it's
Even
15 years.
20 years in the tourism, I
Let's
think.
go 20. Yeah, let's go 25. Yeah.
But no, I don't coach for the tourism. I don't give what is it, trainings out
But
of the island, something like that. I don't do that anymore.
but
So
it's not the length. I'm getting to the point, which is you
mm-hmm,
have 28 years experience,
mm-hmm.
right?
I sounds
What
very old that way. Okay, let's not make it
So
28 years.
let's just stick to this for now. I'm trying to
No,
make an
no, no,
example for
no.
you
Yeah, I know.
and for the group.
I know, but
So,
I'm just kidding, But like, it sounds like I'm already very old. But yes, at that time, even I train the manager of the banks, something like that. Even they
right.
consult with me if they want to fire their staff, like. But those are like the confidential clients. You see that I may not show to the other people because it's really confidential. Like on the district navigation in the office, you have to say that you are the family. That's what happening here, so that other people do not know if you have the consultation or the private class with them, something like that. Also, with, like with the president of a company, something like that. That's why I never have the testimonial or something like that.
Nope, I get it. But let me ask you a question then. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just stop at that point. I usually would go into even more value, but with if
Mm-hmm.
I came to you and I
Mm-hmm.
said, Sonia, I have 28 years experience. Do you think that that's worth anything?
Oh
Would
yeah,
you
so much, of
would you
course.
rather work with a coach with 2 years experience or one with 28?
Oh, but I didn't know it was coaching, and it wasn't on the. They pay me, but not as a coach. They paid me
I
as
didn't I didn't
other
I didn't ask
other.
I didn't ask if you got paid for it. I said how much experience do you have? You said about 28 years you've been in some form or another doing it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that
Even in
does that not
education at
have
the
value?
university
Does it
also.
does that
Even
not
as
have
a
value?
lecturer, you also coach your students. That's what I experienced after knowing that is the coaching business. But I didn't realize it. That I thought that I was a lecturer only, something like that. So
Okay.
that's why I didn't put it in the experience. Okay, the
Does
pure coaching is 3 years.
does that have value, your experience, yes or no?
Yes, of course, a
It
lot.
has value. So if you were going to charge $10 for your service because you only felt you had 2 or 3 years experience, and
Mm-hmm.
then you realize you have a total combined of potentially 28, is that worth more than $10?
Oh, of course, no. That's why. So it is like, but I put the high price on my website to not worry about that.
It's
So
not
I
about
don't want to
pricing,
be
it's
like,
not
I
anything
don't want
about
to
that.
be like a cheap coach. That's why I didn't give the free session anymore. Also, but I give the free, but I don't call it the exploration session or the free session. Just like the casual conversation that actually they consult with me in the messenger, for example, and there is more fun. It doesn't matter if they are going to be my clients or not, but then they will see my value, right? In the future, it will be much more better if we work together. That's what I mean. That's how I built my business also.
That's beautiful.
You can call it like the strategy in business, but actually this is not like the strategy. Like, yes, I would like to practice my coaching also. That in my beginning of the coaching, there were some belief or image that, like, because I'm ASEAN, so I cannot solve the Westerners' problem or the Westerners' clients, or to help them, and maybe they would like to pay me cheap. And it didn't happen that way. I don't want that kind of image. I don't want that kind of values that they have in their uh, what is it? Just like not in their image actually, and their belief that ASEAN cannot help them, something like that. Especially with my English, that this is not like the British English or American English or Australian English. This is Sonya English, but I know I have the ability to help them. And in fact, in the
That's all you
messenger,
need.
when they consult with me, I help them a lot, yes. But I don't ask the testimonial, that's all. Because, yeah, it is not like because I didn't call it the free session or, like the exploration session, and I don't really push them to be my client.
Yep. Well, that's all things that you could learn down the road, but
Mm-hmm.
when we understand our value, then we'll charge what we're worth. And what
Yes,
we're worth
I
doesn't
do,
mean that we're doing, you know, taking advantage of anybody or charging too much, but we have to charge enough to be able
of
to
course.
afford our life, or we're not going to be in a business that we can sustain.
Yes, and then also I have my class also now for the people that I'm opening for the entrepreneurs, especially who want to be confident, to get more clients through live streaming like this, and I can help them out. So I'm very happy doing this now to
That's
shift my
beautiful.
business to online. So that's why also, yeah, in 100 Days Live with Sonya, I meet a lot of great people, and then also the experts like you, the great speakers who support me a lot in how do you call it, in maintaining my business in online business. So I'm famous now, Jacob.
That's right, you are. That's the beauty of
I
right
know.
now.
Thank you. No, I'm kidding. What I mean, yeah, this is a great step also that people connect with me, that they start to know me. And then even there are so many speakers who understand my vision, my dreams, my goals, and they help me out to do this event. They sponsor this event, and then they also share their values. They work together with us in our coaching universe, so when the people need them, they can contact them easily, and
That's
then
wonderful.
this is my vision also, to get the expert to meet the right people as your clients, because there are so many clients who do not know how to get the expert they need, actually, because they spend a lot of money, $1,000, contacting this person, that person, but they are not the right person for their needs or for their problems, right, or for their business. That's why I maintain our coaching universe for that also. Like the group is still small now, and maybe not so many people share their values yet. But because I haven't been there a lot, also because, as I mentioned, that I try to shift my business from offline to online, so I have to manage my time again, to manage my schedule again, and that is great. But I believe that this group is going to be very, very huge, because then the people are in the one place, to find the right coach, the right mentors, and then of course the right consultant in the group. That's what I mean,
That's
without
beautiful. I see what
being
you can see.
expensive, you know what I mean? Because I'm very happy and blessed that the speakers, the experts who join us, do not really care about how many audience that we have or how many viewers that we have, or also charge the expensive programs, but they are always open to be contacted by our clients.
Absolutely.
That's what I mean.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
already 45 minutes. Sorry.
That's
I thought
okay.
that we were.
Can we, if anybody would like to get in touch with me, the easiest way would
Yes,
be to go to
please give
LinkedIn.
it.
Just go to
Mm-mm.
LinkedIn. I'm on it almost every day. That's the platform that I use the most. Or come to Sonia's page and I will check it. And if somebody has a
Mm-hmm.
message, we can go there. But thank you for having me today. This has been wonderful.
Thank you. Me too. Also, do you have any message for our viewers?
If you have an idea or you have a dream, uh, don't settle for anything less than taking action towards it. There, every walk of life, every area of life has success stories in them. It also has tragedies. We all have situations that if we focus just on them, life would be very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to rise above anything. The biggest limitation is between our ears. It's not outside of us. So, as a group, we can help each other to a certain point. But the biggest helper that you'll ever discover is within you. So, don't give up on your dream. Find a resource, find somebody, find a mentor, find a coach if you can afford it. And if you can't, connect with someone you'd like to coach with. And if they offer a free session, take it. But don't let anything stop you from your dream.
Thank you so much, Jacob. That is really, really important also for us. And then also for, I would like to thank our sponsor today, Narmita Bipili. She's one of our speaker, but also our sponsor, and you can check her out in her website, narmit.com, and then I thank you very much for everyone who support this event, also for our main sponsor, livestream universe, livestreamuniverse.com, belong to Ross Brand, and of course Jacob, thank you very much again for being here today, and I'll see you next. Oh yeah, Jacob will be in our next event, online World Summit for live streamers with Sonya. He's selected, or he
Yes.
will kill me if I don't select you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Sorry that I become very selective in the next event, because not everyone in 100 days like with Sonya can be on the next event, because I only need 50 speakers, and so far I already select 20 speakers, and I want the best of the best, and the people who are fun to work with, like you, Jacob. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much
much.
for being here today. And if you would like to, to register to our next event in June, online World Summit for live streamers with Sonya, you can register to wordsummit.anitasonya.com, wordsummit.anitasonya.com. And thank you for being here today. And if you watch the replay, please give the hashtag replay. Now I do it asking for the hashtag replay because there are so many people who contact me on the messenger. They watch, but they don't put the comments or the hashtag replay. So please do that if you love us. 100 Days Live with Sonya. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you,
Thank you.
Jacob. See you.
Thank you.